I'm Rochelle Wilhite, the designated broker of Best Choice Realty. And tonight we've got Sterling Home Inspection. Michael Wickland is here. I've used Michael before, so it's nice to have him on the call. Give us some good training on inspections. I'm not going to give you a lot. I won't steal his thunder. Just want to make sure he can share his screen now and take over the presentation. If there are questions, you can put them in the chat. And we will go ahead and answer those as we see them. Or if we need to pose the question, we will go ahead and interrupt Michael. But for the most part, Michael, the platform is all of yours. So
okay, I'm just going to share my screen here. Hopefully everybody can see.
I see Zoom.
Yep.
There we go.
Okay, let's see. Let me get the right.
And inspections are coming back, I will say. I know Michael's been doing more inspections, so that's good news. More listings means more inspections, so we love that.
We have an exciting new inspection for you guys.
Perfect.
Okay. All righty, we're going to let Miranda kind of take her role here.
Yeah, so I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Miranda Bogart. I'm with Sterling Inspections. I'm new to the team, but I love them already. And I'm so excited we get this opportunity to share this with you guys. We understand the market right now, so we're just trying to adapt. I want to go ahead and introduce Michael. He's the owner of Sterling, and he has some really good stuff for you guys.
Okay, well, I'm Michael Wickland, owner of the Sterling Inspection Group. I was born in just south of Chicago. I grew up mostly in Las Vegas, and then I moved to Tacoma in 1984. So, you know, I went from a non-web footer in Las Vegas, where it's nice and dry and hot, to having web feet, a true Northwesterner. So, anyway, just a little bit about myself. I'm really a big family guy. I have 4 grown kids, 10 grandkids. I work with the Boy Scouts, and I've done that for years. And in 1992, I was nominated by my peers as Scoutmaster of the Year. I have 2 boys of my own, and they both achieved Eagle Scout. I really love music trivia, and if you're ever around me, I'll probably name that tune, name the artist, name the year it came out, name the band. You know, I love
He
trivia.
really does.
I'm kind of a trivia nut. My kids would say, yeah, just nut, Dad, not the trivia. So there's my family. We have a couple of extra kids that weren't in this picture because, you know, they weren't born that with. It's a little bit older picture. I am a 3rd generation carpenter. My son Kevin is the 4th generation. He's currently a working carpenter. My dad and grandfather were both carpenters. I did mostly kitchen and bath remodels, and I was a finished trim carpenter. I did a lot of real estate work orders. That's any work that's generated from that 35R, back when we used to be able to ask for stuff and sellers actually would do stuff, and I got hired to do that stuff. So then, so I fixed my fair share of wood rot. And in 1999, I went to ITA Home Inspection School. At that time, it was really one of the few home inspection schools in the country, and it was the only credentialed one. There's a lot more now. Back when I did home inspections, then we used to handwrite the reports and take our film to the photo hut to get it developed. So yeah, I am kind of an older guy.
I remember that time, Michael.
And then in 2000, we began our own home inspection company. Over the last 2 decades, we've been able to serve our clients by doing about just a little over 25,000 home inspections for buyers. I personally have done over 12,000 inspections, home and commercial. So that's just a little bit about me. I love to give back, so I am a certified FEMA inspector, and I had the privilege of going and serving, you know, my fellow mankind, and really giving back to Hurricane Sandy and Hurricane Harvey. Hurricane Sandy was on the New Jersey shore. Harvey was in Texas. This is an older lady's house who had no homeowners insurance, 2 generations living in the same house. No homeowners insurance because they owned the house outright. They didn't have to have homeowners insurance. So therefore, lower income, just able to give back. And it was really quite the reward when you come off the roof and they throw their arms around you and they have tears streaming on their face and they say, I never would have been able to do this. So what's really different about Sterling? It's the team that we have to support you as the realtor. and the needs that you have and the new needs that you and your clients have with this crazy market. So next day inspections are guaranteed with our company. It's next day or it's free. It's on us. So we can do next day inspections. Sometimes if you're really in a hurry and you have to call and ask, we can sometimes do same day inspections, but we do guarantee next day inspections. You have to call by noon though. So we have the time. We have the time and the bandwidth and the support. We have 16 employees in our company, and we have the time when you need it. So yes, we do offer 7-day-a-week inspections, Saturday and Sunday. Every weekend we have an inspector that's on, and he's our weekend guy. We can do late appointment times in the spring and summer when we have those longer daylight hours. We're there to serve the client. And there's Miss Miranda doing her picture photo op, and we're able to take care of you and your clients. So our team can help take care of just everything in the inspection need. We can do the home inspection or commercial if you have a commercial building or buildings. We do sewer scoping, and we've probably done sewer scoping probably longer than most anybody in the Puget Sound. I started scoping about 12 and a half years ago, and now I'm a national instructor. So I flew out of SeaTac 9 times last year to go to Florida, Texas, Indianapolis, San Diego, Denver, a few others. And I taught other home inspectors how to sewer scope. And one of those times when I was in Florida, I was asked to go to Shaq's house. Yes, Shaquille O'Neal's. It was selling for $16.8 million. It was 31,000 square feet. And it had 16 bathrooms. So I got to do the sewer scope on that. And that was on a septic system. So don't be fooled, realtors. We do scope the line between the house and the tank. You may have the tank pumped. You may get an O&M report, but that isn't really going to cover the line between the house and the tank. And we do find deficiencies. The biggest is grease, roots, offsets, and breaks in the line. Or it's a good line, at least they know it's a good line. So this is David, this is my youngest son, and he's our certified sewer scope inspector. And we have a dedicated sewer inspector so that it doesn't take up the time of the home inspector. He can keep home inspecting, and David can do the sewer scope, so we can condense that time, because we know we don't have long time lengths in our showing times. We do environmental testing, air quality, mold, water, well. We feel like we're sort of a one-stop shop for you. You don't have to have multiple different companies coming out. And now what you've all been waiting for, the inspection that we have changed the name of. A lot of people would call it a walk and talk. I never liked that name, walk and talk, because we're not really walking with the client and talking. Not that we wouldn't be willing to, it's just they don't get as much bang for the buck. If we only have a window of an hour showing time, we want to get the most for that we can do. And so we renamed it, trademarked it, Just the Big Stuff Inspection. And I was going to play this little audio clip, but it wasn't really working very well. Gene Knight made a song called Mr. Big Stuff. If you haven't heard it, if you like that kind of music, which we,
it's a good song. Goes
I'm
with it.
into music, yeah. So what does it include? Well, let's talk about a full home inspection. The state of Washington Department of Licensing says that every full home inspection, the DOL says you have to inspect the grounds, exterior, foundation, roof, heating, plumbing, electrical, the interior, the attic, garage, kitchen, which includes appliances, bathrooms, and crawl space. That's what a full home inspection is, when you have 2.5 hours, and you know you're getting the house and you have mutual acceptance. But when you don't know if you have mutual acceptance, the buyers are a little skittish to spend the full home inspection price on a house they may or may not get. We hope they get it. We pray every night that everything closes. We want everything to close. We don't want to be alarmists. So we came up with Just the Big Stuff. And what do we include in Just the Big Stuff? Well, there's the list. We do the roof. We do the attic. We do the HVAC. You can see the heat pump or the air conditioner right there in the foreground. The electrical panel, the water heater, and the crawl space. And you can see our guys all suited up there, because when you go in the crawl, sometimes they're nice and clean, but most of the time they're dirty and nasty and dusty and cobwebs and mouse poop. And, so we want to protect our guys. So in the crawl space, we're always going to be looking for any issues in the foundation, plumbing leaks, things like that. So what do you get when you get the Big Stuff inspection? On a full inspection, you're going to get a fully written report. It's pictures and maybe a video file with a full inspection. But on a just the big stuff, there's no written report. That's how we can make the price, more palatable for the buyer. And we know that sometimes we've done 2 and 3 inspections before they get selected, when they're reviewing offers. Maybe they just get beat out a couple times. So they don't want to keep spending full inspection prices. If they have mutual, then by all means do a full home inspection. And I know you all know this. Never waive the inspection. If you waive the inspection, it's never good for anybody. And occasionally you have to. I get it. We do offer post-purchase inspections after they move in. But when you do a big stuff inspection, what you're going to get is we're going to do a review of the photo. So we're going to put our laptop on the kitchen counter. Everybody's going to huddle around it. We're going to go through each picture one at a time, talk to your client, explain to them what we found when we were on the roof, when we were in the attic, when we were crawling in the crawl space. Because, as much as we like to bring coveralls for everybody, I don't think anybody's really taken me up on it very much in the last 23 years of inspecting. But we do offer, in case we have any takers. So we do a photo file and an audio report. And the audio is where we turn on our voice recorder and we record what we tell them and the questions they ask us and our answers back to them, and more questions from more questions that they ask us. And that way, if the partner or significant other, spouse is not able to be there, they're going to get an audio file and a photo file. So we do serve the whole Puget Sound for the most part: Centralia, Chehalis, Tenino, all the way up through Olympia, Tumwater, Tacoma, clear up to Renton, Bothell, Seattle. We go all over, and we have 8 inspectors, so we're certainly willing to be there to serve your clients, and we'd love to earn your business. So this is just a picture of our team. And, we're here to serve you. We'd like to earn your business, and let us know. We'd love for you to let us know what we can do to better serve you. We're always trying to be creative. I'll give you one example. We had a client that wanted to do a full inspection. They didn't have mutual, but they were willing to do a full inspection. We said, you got to have at least 2 hours. We'd like 2.5, but you'll have at least 2 hours. And they go, okay, we'll call back. Call back to the listing agent. Seller said, nope, only 1 hour, only 1 hour. They just would not let up. So I said, okay, let's do this. Let's put 3 inspectors on it, and we'll do it all in 1 hour. And we did. We had two home inspectors and a sewer scope guy, and we got it all done in 1 hour, because we're just there to be creative to make it happen. We try not to be alarmist. We have to be informational. We have to tell them the truth. We can't put blinders on. But let me escape out of there. I'm going to stop my share here so that we can see everybody. But we're just here to be creative. What can we do to best serve you and your clients in today's crazy market? And does anybody remember Ernst or Pay and Pack? Yeah, but they're not here anymore. They did not move with the time. Blockbusters, they're not here anymore. You have to change with the times. You're not going to change the people. You may not change the market. We can't make the phone ring, but we can't change the showing times, but we can change our business model to better suit your needs. So Miranda, I'll let you kind of chime in there.
Yeah, so we're just really excited, and we wanted to know if you had any questions about the big stuff. So starting out, the big stuff is $379 up to 3,000 square feet. We, of course, it's based off square footage, but we're just here to help you guys. We want to work as a team with our agents. We're really excited. We want you to protect your clients. We want to protect you. We want to work in this, seamless connection with each other. And so if you guys have any questions at all, we would love to answer them.
Great. Well, I think we have a couple. So related around price, can you go over, Miranda, a little bit more about the full and versus the big stuff? Can you explain the difference in the pricing for the full inspection? And is there a different cost for sellers? Like if sellers in King County, that's kind of like the name of the game. The sellers are actually getting a full inspection before they go on the market. So is that a different pricing, or is that just we call and say, hey, my seller wants to have their house inspected? So that would be question number 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. So I'll answer a part of it and then I'll throw it off to Michael because he's super informative and he does these every day and he's on the phone every day with them as well. So I do know that our our prices are averaged from 450 to 5 or 495 to 595 for a full home inspection. But of course, it's all based off square footage. But with the 5 major components of the house at 375, that's just an amazing deal to me. I mean, I think that sounds amazing, up to 3,000 square feet. So that's the difference here. I mean, that's a good chunk of change you're saving, about almost $200. Michael, do you want to answer the rest?
Sure. So a seller procured inspection, you're right. It's very commonplace. If you go up north, you go to Seattle, Bellevue,
Yep.
you almost can't even find a listed home that does not have a seller procured inspection.
Right.
And a seller procured inspection is really no different than a home inspection when you have mutual. It's the same time slot for us on the calendar. So the price really isn't really any different. If we have an agent, and we do have agents that do many pre-listing inspections or seller procured inspection, and we'll, as they keep ordering them, obviously we'll give them a volume discount,
Okay.
perhaps not on the first one. And we want to be able to earn your business and prove ourselves. And I've had investors call and say, I'm going to do 12 inspections a month. Can I get a discount on the first one? I said, well, I'll give you a discount on the first one and a little bit less on the second one and a little bit more less on the third one and a little bit more less on the fourth one. Because really, if you average them, he's going to have the discount because, not that we don't trust people, but sometimes investors will want the discount on the first one, then you never see them again. They're just gone. So, we're absolutely happy to work with them. We do over $1 million worth of inspections a year. We're just a bigger company and I run it like a real business. And, we're not a one-man shop. There's nothing wrong with a one-man shop. That's how I started.
Right.
But, we're running a pretty big ship here and we just have to really run it very tight like any other business. And, if you don't show up for the inspection and you call me an hour before and cancel, I'm like, oh my gosh, I still pay my inspector for that inspection because I have to. So I'll say, be kind to your inspector. If you're going to cancel, or if you find out, call him early. He'd rather hear from you at 11:30 at night that you're canceling than at 8 in the morning when the appointment's at 9. I can vouch for that.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of seller procured inspections. We also do a lot when they've waived inspection, and we do post-purchase inspection after they moved in. We actually have a letter that we'd be happy to send out to all of your agents. And it has our information on it, but it's not a PDF. It's a Word document. So if you want to massage it to fit your management style,
Awesome.
or take our logo off it and put your logo on it, it just says, we value you as a client. Thank you for using Candace Frazier or whatever your name is. Candace, right. I see you there. So I just used your name. So you might just say, hey, this is Candace. Thank you for your business. I want to be your agent for life. I know we had to waive the inspection or we wouldn't have got the house on 12th Avenue. But as your agent, as your professional, I care about you and I want you to get an inspection. I think you should get an inspection right after you move in so you can stay ahead of the maintenance curve. Now, doesn't that sound like you got your commission and you haven't forgot about them? Not that Candace would ever forget them, because we know that wouldn't happen. She's always going to remember them. But you're showing them, though. You're not just saying it. It's not just lip service. You're showing them that you're contacting them after the fact, it's been recorded with a recorder, after the commission check's been cashed. Now you're still making contact with them, because anything that I could teach, because I've taught real estate classes before, you might go, how could you teach real estate classes? You're not a realtor. No, I'm a relationship business person. Yeah. And I think realtors are relationship business persons. And we've escalated to the point where we do $1 million. That would be GCI for you. If you were pulling in $1 million a year in commission, you'd have some valuable knowledge that took you to get there.
Nice.
So I feel like I have a little bit of value to add to the equation. After you've done 12,000 inspections, do you know how many hours I've spent with realtors? Like 2.5 hours times 12,000. I've spent a lot of dang time with realtors. I love realtors, and I love working with the great agents that will maybe send a letter after the fact, stay in contact with their client. I can't even tell you how many times I'll ask somebody, who is your agent? Well, you don't want the
No,
you
you
want them to
don't.
know who you are. You want to
No,
develop
Michael, and
that
I learned from
relationship.
you. I mean, my goodness, I never even thought to send a letter after, if I'm waiting. That's a great takeaway from tonight's session. Is
Yeah,
absolutely, if you can have Miranda send that to us, we'll make sure we get that out to your
absolutely.
group. That would be
We'd love to.
a nice attachment to some of the conversations we've had in
Sure.
the past.
Yes,
Um,
and we all,
go
oh,
ahead.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
No,
I
you're
just
good.
wanted to throw out real quick that we do. So I, of course, you have so many agents within your guys's, your agency. So Sterling is offering $100 off for any new agent that uses us. So I can send that to you as well. And for all of your agents who have never used Sterling, they'll have that $100 off their first home inspection with us.
Awesome. That was the next question was for new agents, this is from somebody that's new to the business. How long does an inspection take? How long should they tell their client to expect? The full and then the big stuff on just a general, say 2,500 square
Two
foot
and a
house.
half, 2.5 hours for a full inspection. I mean, unless we're talking, well, I went over to Cleellum this last week to do a 9,000 square foot house that was selling for 7 million. It took a little bit longer, but not much longer, because you know what? I brought 2 other inspectors with me. We have a little more bandwidth.
Okay.
So we do some really big stuff, but 2.5 is about
As a
the
general.
average.
Perfect.
To do just the big stuff, you're looking at about an hour. We can do it in a little bit shorter time, but you have to let us know. You can't surprise the inspector. Oh, by the way, we don't have an hour. We only have a half an hour, but we want you to do the same amount of work. Well, that's not fair. Let us know ahead of time. We'll just bring more. We'll bring the cavalry. We'll bring more people.
So then the other question that's kind of related to that would also be, so when setting expectations for your buyer, right? When they're hiring Sterling to go out there and to do the inspection, do they show up at the inspection, at the last hour of the inspection? I get asked this question a lot from new brokers. Sure. Michael, they don't know when to have their client show up.
Well, here's my preference, and I'll tell you. Here's how I answer. When people say, "Could we come to the inspection?" I said, by all means, yes. We'd love to have you at the inspection, and you have a choice. You can come and be there for the whole thing. We'd love to have you. We'd never say not come. But I will tell you, it takes a little while for the guys to get things done. And while we have some buyers want to be there for every minute of the inspection, you're certainly welcome, because you're the boss and we're working for you. And I have some other buyers who just come at the end. They come for the last 20, 30 minutes to do the review.
Right.
If you're there, you really can't go on our ladder because of liability. So you can't go on the roof of the attic. You probably don't want to go in the crawl space, even though I offer you a nice pair of coveralls. And I've been thinking about getting some pink ones in case any women want to, I'm kidding. But, there's stuff for us to do while you're waiting. And,
So you would say the end would probably be the best, when the report's being really gone over best. And everything.
Yeah. And here's what I would tell new agents. Don't say what old agents do. They go, oh yeah, follow them around, ask a million questions. You can do that. I'm not going to tell a buyer they can't follow me around. But I will say like this: you can talk to the heart surgeon before surgery and after surgery, just not during surgery. And so if you were not to follow your inspector around, he's going to be able to laser focus on the house and you'll get a better inspection. It's not like they're interrupting us, although they are a little bit. It just takes our focus and our dedication. We're working for you. We're your advocate. We're the buyer's advocate. We get paid whether the deal goes or doesn't go. We're probably the only truly disinterested third party in the whole equation, because our pay is not, it doesn't matter if the house buys or sells, if they buy or it falls through or they rescind. We want it to go through by all means. We don't want them to rescind. We want them to buy the house. So I would tell the agent, get there early, turn on the fireplace, set the mood, open the windows if the house has been stuffy and, if it's been closed up, open all the blinds. I mean, get the house ready, because a lot of times they'll show it on a showing and they'll write up the offer, and then they come back. And when they looked at it on a showing, they're only there for 10 or 15 minutes. Now they're going to be there for a couple hours. And sometimes people, I don't want to say they're all looking for a reason to back out, but sometimes it's not sold till it's sold. It's not sold till you get mutual acceptance and it records. So
Mhm.
always be doing that closing by making the house presentable, and visit with your client. Ask them questions like, what are you going to do with the house? Is it going to be an investment? Or going to be a primary? Is it going to be an adult assisted living? Or do you have kids? Are you going to put a big toy in the backyard? Ask them, what's the first thing you're going to do? What kind of remodeling are you going to change the carpet? You want them to see themselves in the house. So
That's
that
great, Michael. I mean, I think every state's a little different in how they handle inspections, and Washington is certainly unique in
Yes.
that sometimes in some states they don't want anybody in the house while you're doing the inspection. In our state in Washington, you definitely want to advise that they come at least do a summary, and if they don't, then they can look at the report. But it's often harder, at least from my vantage point, to negotiate something if they haven't physically heard it from the source, right? And actually seen what we're dealing with. Sometimes the pictures I've seen on some of the reports, they look like super threatening when you see it on paper, but when you see it in person, you're like, it's not a big deal, and you hear it from the inspector. So I'm always advising that you take that, last 30 minutes. I tell my clients the last hour, of the inspection.
Absolutely. Hey, one thing that we do offer is if your client can't be there and they've got mutual or not, we'll do a Zoom review with them. I've done Zoom reviews long before COVID, like way before COVID, because we have a lot of military clients, out of state clients. We'll do a Zoom review. I had one where the husband was in New York and the wife was in Guam. And we were Zooming, and I was in North Tacoma doing a review with them, going over all the photos. Here's why I think going over the photos is really good. And I'm not saying we invented it, because we didn't invent the wheel. But we were one of the first to really always do a picture review at the end, because if they get the report cold, like they've never reviewed it, they don't know anything about it, and they're just looking at it, boy, their blood pressure just raises. Yeah. Well, if I can go over the pictures with them and say, well, this is a little concerning, and this is not, and this is small, and this is medium, this is a little bigger, this one is this cost. Not that we know all the costs, but we can kind of give them a little bit of a gauge. Then when they get the written report, they go, oh, I remember Michael said this. And I remember he said this wasn't really that big a deal, and this over here. So they're not getting it cold. They've reviewed the photos, and we write our reports based on the photos. If nothing's wrong, there's very few photos. I mean, we have some general photos of the front and the left and the right and the back of the house, but our pictures are what drives the writing of the report, if that makes sense.
Perfect. Awesome. Couple more questions came in while you were talking, Michael. So do you do duplex, triplex, multifamily, commercial properties with your company?
We do. Yes. The biggest we ever did was 18 buildings where we entered 277 doors. And yes, we went in every unit. Okay. We do 10-plex. We do multiplex. There's not too much that we haven't done. We just finished doing, unless you're a carpenter, you might not know this. If you go to Home Depot and you pull a piece of plywood off the shelf, it's going to have a stamp on it that says APA, American Plywood Association. Yeah. And I've seen that since I was 22 years old, and I'm now 62. So for 40 years, I've been looking at that stamp. Where did that stamp come from? It came from the American Plywood Association, which is based right out of Tacoma. I didn't even know that. I mean, that's where the testing facilities, they're like the underwriter laboratory for plywood. And we did their buildings, and they had two buildings. The back building was 36,000 square feet, and the front was 33,000 square feet. We did both buildings. We had 5 inspectors plus myself, plus a sewer scope guy on it. And we got it all done in one day. So we do mixed use. We did one with 32 condos on the top and retail on the bottom. We probably do more commercial than anybody else in the Puget Sound. Tomorrow we have 2 medical buildings. We do a lot of medical, dentists, restaurants. We love doing commercial. Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. We're doing quite a bit of commercial as well here at Best Choice. So it's nice to have that resource. Yeah. The other thing that I learned new, I did not know you guys did the well testing. So have you always done that? I did not know.
It's bacteria, nitrate. We can do arsenic. We also do soil testing if you're in Tacoma and you're in the Asarco zone. If you guys aren't familiar with Asarco, is a plant, a smelter that polluted some of the soil in the Tacoma, North End area. So we do soil and we do water. We do well house and component. inspections. And then if you need, and I would say only do this if your lender's asking for, you can do it at whatever you want. But if the lender's asking for a flow or a drawdown test, that takes about 2 hours all by itself.
How much
we
does
also
that
do
cost to do a flow test with the well?
It kind of depends on if your lender's asking for a 1 hour flow or a 2 hour flow. And it also depends on where it's at.
Okay.
We had one over in Cleellum, which, you know, it's a 2 hour drive there and a 2 hour drive back plus 2 hours there. So it's a 6 hour event. So it all depends. They usually start about 425 to 475-ish.
Okay.
It all depends on driving. And that driving is more important now that gas is over $5 a gallon.
Yeah.
And we also, just one thing, a little shameless plug here. We do foundation certifications on manufactured homes. So if you have a manufactured home and it's going to be an FHA or VA loan, the HUD standards are you're going to have a foundation cert. So I would tell your buyer and your selling agent for your buyer, go to the listing agent and find out if the seller already has a certificate. Because I say, if you have a certificate, then don't pay us the money. We don't want to spend your money unwisely. If you already have a certificate, let's just get the certificate and save your client the money. You know, we'll do the home inspection, but if you need the foundation cert, we can do the foundation cert because we have an engineer on staff.
So it's just a one-stop shop, but knowing what to ask for when you order the inspection, I think is
that's exactly right. And don't be afraid to ask us. We'll tell you if something we don't do. You know, like ask us if we do windows or something.
Okay, perfect. What is the most? Somebody asked. This is a great question. What's the most common, like the top 3 things that come up on an inspection for your guys when they go out?
Well, probably the nationally, the biggest callback for inspectors or insurance companies would be leaks, whether it be a roof leak or a plumbing leak. So, you know, obviously a roof leak is more costly because it's going to damage what's ever below it. So plumbing and roofing, those are 2 big areas. And then, let's see, wood rot. Yeah, by far wood rot. So when you look at like a pest inspection if the FHA appraiser calls for a pest inspection, then they want the NPMA 33 form, which is a HUD requirement. A pest inspection includes 3 things, not just bugs. The 1/3 of the pest inspection is wood destroying insect, carpenter ant, moisture ant, termite, wood boring beetle. The second third is wood rot caused by a microorganism. It's an organ. It's alive, but it's not a bug. It doesn't have little legs. It's a microorganism. That's wood rot. And then the third thing is conducive conditions. Any condition that would be conducive, siding or wood touching the soil, firewood stacked too close to the house, missing vapor barrier, plumbing leaks, things like that. But everything that's related to water, and I know we live in a really dry state, so no, I'm kidding. So really, it's just water. You know, where water goes where it wants to go, and so I would say water is probably the number 1 thing, whether it's coming from the roof or a plumbing leak or standing water in the crawl. Those kind. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's kind of what I thought. I was just wondering if it's still the same. And I love the 1 day. That's great. I think when we start to transition, our market starts to become, you know, there's more listings and you can negotiate inspections. I mean, with that guarantee, Michael, that's awesome. You know, 1 day, as long as you get that, you know, get mutual acceptance, you could potentially write it up with a 1 day inspection turnaround.
Right.
Right. So that's great that you're adjusting to that. Candace, were there any questions that we didn't cover tonight?
No, I don't think so. This was nice and very thorough.
Hey, one last thing that comes with our inspection.
The scope and the inspection. So
go ahead, Michael.
So one last thing with our inspections, another thing that kind of sets us apart is, you know, we give you 6 different warranties. So we give you a 5-year roof warranty free with every inspection, a 1-year structural warranty. Now, when I say structural, I mean a true structural warranty, no age limit on the house. Now, it's not going to cover pre-existing conditions.
Right.
But if you have that nervous Nelly buyer who's buying a 100-year-old home and they can't sleep at night, and you can't figure out how to make them calm down, say, hey, we use Sterling. They have a 1-year structural warranty. Now, again, it's not going to cover pre-existing conditions. So if we go in and we have beams or girders or something that's already deficient, it's not there to cover that. So 5-year roof warranty, 1-year structural warranty, and then we give you 4 90-day warranties. We have a 90-day home warranty that covers appliances. Now, there is a little caveat there. The appliances have to be 10 years old or less. It's not going to cover like a 37-year-old water heater because that warranty company would go out of business. So a 90-day home warranty, 90-day carpenter ant and termite warranty. The third one is a 90-day mold safe warranty. The mold safe means if it's a fully occupied home and we're not going to move the China hutch or the sectional TV or the 85-inch big screen TV, and we can't see behind some of that stuff, and then your client moves out, or excuse me, the seller moves out and your buyer goes to move in and they see mold on the wall, they'll go, well, why did Sterling miss this? And you go, well, don't you remember that 85-inch TV that was there? Well, mold safe, we've got your back. And then, so I did 90-day home, 90-day, a 90-day sewer line warranty. So here, get this. So we do sewer scoping, but if your client chooses not to do the sewer scope, we're going to give a 90-day warranty on the sewer line, regardless if we do a sewer scope. If we do a sewer scope, then the warranty jumps up from 90 days to 1 year automatically at no charge. Wow. So we've got you covered. And then the only other thing I would say we do, other than the 6 warranties, is we do a thing called recall check. It's a report that your client gets and lets them know if any of the appliances are recalled, because if they're recalled, we're going to let you know about it. And then they could either get a repair or a free replacement on that dishwasher, stove, cooktop, garbage disposal, dishwasher, water heater, furnace, built-in microwave, garage door openers. So,
perfect.
Thank you, Michael.
Sounds like you've got it all in wealth of knowledge, you guys. I think we are well served by a lot of knowledge tonight. So we'll just wrap up. We appreciate Miranda. I told you it was fast paced.
Yes, I like it though.
So it's fast track, fast paced, and hopefully you guys will get a few contacts from our meeting tonight. I certainly learned a few things, so I love it when I learn a few things. You can certainly teach an old dog new tricks. So I appreciate the knowledge.